Have you ever wondered why China's stealth fighter looks suspiciously like it raided Lockheed Martin's design archives? Or why this dragon has more J-20s in the sky than America has F-22s, yet nobody's seen one actually fight? Well, strap in, because China's J-20 Mighty Dragon is wrapped in more mystery than a Beijing fog. Today, we're cutting through 15 weird facts about this controversial fighter that Western analysts can't agree on and China won't talk about, honestly. And number one will make you question everything you think you know about modern air warfare. Hit that like button, subscribe for more, and let's uncover the truth. 15. Copycat or innovation? Let's address the elephant in the hangar. The J-20 looks familiar, doesn't it? That's because it's basically a greatest hits album of American stealth technology. The fuselage screams F-22. The nose cone whispers F-35. The overall shaping? Someone definitely had access to Lockheed's homework. In 2009, Chinese hackers stole terabytes of data from F-35 development programs. Coincidentally, the J-20 prototype flew just 2 years later. Pure coincidence, right? But here's where it gets interesting. China didn't just copy and paste. They added canards, those small wings near the cockpit that no American stealth fighter uses. They modified the airframe for different engines. They adapted stolen concepts to their own manufacturing capabilities and strategic needs. So is it theft? Absolutely. Is it also an engineering adaptation? Grudgingly, yes. The J-20 is what happens when espionage meets indigenous innovation. It's plagiarism with modifications, and that somehow makes it more dangerous because it's unpredictable. 14. Bigger than you think. This thing is massive. The J-20 stretches roughly 66 feet long, dwarfing the F-22 at 62 feet, and making the F-35 look like a toy. But length doesn't tell the whole story. The overall volume and weight are substantially larger than both American jets. Why is it so big? Geography? The Pacific Ocean is enormous, and China needs range to project power beyond its coast. A bigger airframe means more fuel, longer missions without refueling. But size comes with brutal trade-offs. Larger aircraft are easier to detect despite stealth coatings, less maneuverable in dogfights, and require more powerful engines, which China struggles to build. The J-20 isn't just a fighter, it's a strategic statement. China chose reach over agility, specifically designed to threaten American carriers thousands of miles from the mainland. 13. Engine trouble hell. Here's China's most embarrassing secret. They still can't build a reliable jet engine. The J-20 originally flew with Russian AL-31 engines, literally imported because domestic options were garbage. Your cutting-edge stealth fighter running on someone else's 1980s technology. China poured billions into indigenous engine development for decades, yet they still produce underpowered, unreliable engines with shorter lifespans than Western equivalents. The newer WS-10C engines are better but can't match the F-22's thrust or efficiency. This means the J-20 cannot supercruise and can't maintain supersonic speeds without afterburners like the Raptor does effortlessly. Thrust vectoring was promised for years but remains questionable. Without reliable power plants, the J-20's combat effectiveness is fundamentally compromised. You can steal airframe designs, but you can't steal decades of metallurgy expertise. 12. Production speed shock. Hold onto your seats for this one. China has already built more J-20s than America has operational F-22s. Let that sink in. The US capped Raptor production at 187 aircraft over nearly 2 decades. China? They've cranked out an estimated 200-plus J-20s in less than 10 years, and they're still going. The production speed is genuinely terrifying from a strategic perspective. While America debates budgets and argues over every procurement dollar, China just builds. No public hearings, no congressional fights, no transparency requirements slowing things down. Their state-controlled manufacturing can pivot resources overnight. Quality versus quantity becomes a real debate here. Are these J-20s as capable as advertised? Probably not individually, but when you can field twice the numbers in half the time, quantity becomes its own form of quality. American war planners are genuinely worried. You can have the best fighter in the world, but if you're outnumbered 3-1, tactics change dramatically. 11. Canard. Controversy. Those distinctive front wings near the cockpit? They're called canards, and they're a stealth designer's nightmare. Every Western stealth fighter, the F-22, F-35, even the experimental YF-23, abandoned canards completely. Why? Because they light up radar screens like disco balls at certain angles. Canards create vortices, airflow disturbances, and radar reflections that compromise low observability. China knew this and used them anyway. The trade-off was deliberate. Canards provide exceptional maneuverability, especially at low speeds and high angles of attack. They give the J-20 agility that compensates for its large size. But here's the problem. You can't be stealthy and maneuverable simultaneously with this design. The J-20 is betting it can get close enough using frontal stealth before those canards become a liability. It's a gamble that assumes first look, first shot scenarios where the fight ends before turning into a dogfight. Western engineers avoided this compromise entirely. China embraced it, and only real combat will prove who was right. 10. Mystery missions. Here's something wild. Nobody outside China actually knows what this jet has done operationally. 0 confirmed combat missions. No verified intercepts. Just rumors, propaganda videos, and satellite imagery. China claims the J-20 regularly patrols near Taiwan, intimidates foreign aircraft, and maintains air superiority. But there's no independent verification, no leaked footage, no international incidents captured on radar. Compare this to American fighters, where every deployment gets documented, analyzed, and criticized publicly. The J-20 operates in complete informational darkness. Western intelligence agencies piece together guesses from satellite photos and occasional blurry images. Is it patrolling? Is it sitting in hangars? Has it faced real threats? Nobody knows. This information blackout is intentional, strategic ambiguity at its finest. The mystery itself becomes a weapon. 9. Cockpit secrets. Plot twist, the J-20's cockpit might actually be more advanced than the F-22's. China installed helmet-mounted displays from day one, something the Raptor still lacks. Wide-area touchscreen displays dominate the cockpit, similar to F-35 but potentially more integrated. Voice command systems allegedly allow hands-free operations, though this remains unconfirmed. By developing their fighter later, China leapfrogged some Western technology, skipping outdated systems entirely and jumping straight to modern commercial-derived tech. The irony is delicious. America's older stealth fighter is trapped with 1990s avionics, while China's newer jet potentially offers better pilot interface. Of course, we can't verify any of this independently, but if true, it proves that sometimes being second has advantages. You learn from others' mistakes. 8. Weapons bay limitations. The J-20's internal weapons bays are surprisingly small for such a large aircraft. It can't carry the same missile loadout as American stealth fighters. Long-range air-to-air missiles barely fit, and payload options are severely limited. This forces a terrible choice. Carry weapons externally and destroy your stealth completely, or stay stealthy, but bring insufficient firepower. The F-22 and F-35 balance this better with deeper, more flexible weapons bays. Why did China screw this up? Probably because they prioritized other design elements, fuel capacity, avionics space, structural integrity. But in actual combat, insufficient weapons capacity could be fatal. You get one shot, maybe two, then you're either running home or hanging missiles externally like it's 1985. For a fighter designed to dominate, this is a critical weakness. 7. All-aspect stealth. Myth China claims the J-20 is stealthy from all angles. That's propaganda nonsense. The jet is optimized for frontal stealth only, designed to hide from enemy radars while approaching head-on. But from the sides, from behind, the radar cross-section balloons dramatically. Those canards we talked about, the engine nozzles, the overall shaping, they all create radar returns when viewed from non-frontal aspects. This isn't necessarily bad design, it's prioritization. China built the J-20 for first strike scenarios. Sneak in undetected. Fire missiles, get out. But if forced into a turning fight or pursued by enemies, the stealth advantage evaporates. Western fighters like the F-22 maintain better all-aspect stealth, harder to detect regardless of angle. The J-20's tactical doctrine is literally written into its shape. 6. Paint job problems. Satellite images and leaked photos reveal something embarrassing. The J-20's stealth coating is literally peeling off. You can see patches where the radar-absorbent material has degraded, exposing bare metal underneath. Maintenance appears inconsistent across different aircraft. Some look pristine while others look like they've been through a sandstorm. This suggests quality control issues in manufacturing or inadequate maintenance procedures. China ramped up production so fast they potentially sacrificed coating quality for quantity. Environmental factors matter too. Humidity, temperature extremes, and China's varied climate zones stress the materials. The F-22 has similar coating fragility issues, but at least America acknowledges and addresses them. China? Radio silence. Every peeling patch is a radar reflection waiting to give away position. Stealth fighters require obsessive maintenance. If China can't maintain the coatings, the entire stealth advantage crumbles. 5. Indigenous radar claims China proudly claims the J-20's AESA radar. It is entirely indigenous technology, designed and built domestically, except Western intelligence agencies aren't buying it. The radar system shows suspicious similarities to American and Russian designs, suggesting technology was acquired through espionage, purchases, or reverse engineering. China has a documented history of stealing radar technology from Western defense contractors. Performance claims are equally suspicious. China says the radar can track targets at ridiculous ranges, but there's zero independent verification. Propaganda videos show impressive displays, but actual capability remains unknown. Here's what we do know. China struggled with radar technology for years, then suddenly made miraculous breakthroughs right after major cyber espionage operations. Coincidence? The radar might work great, or it might be overhyped vaporware. Without combat testing or independent analysis, it's impossible to separate fact from fiction. 4. Training pipeline issues. China's pumping out J-20s faster than they can train pilots to fly them. Production massively outpaced their training programs, meaning dozens of brand new stealth fighters are sitting in hangars collecting dust because there's nobody qualified to fly them. Training fifth-generation pilots takes years, not months. Western air forces spend a decade developing truly elite fighter pilots. China's trying to compress that timeline, and it shows. Reports suggest pilot quality varies wildly across units. Some are genuinely skilled, others barely competent on advanced systems. Compare this to American F-22 pilots who undergo brutal selection and years of specialized training. Having 200 J-20 means nothing if only half have properly trained crews. Quality versus quantity isn't just about aircraft, it's about the humans flying them. 3. Carrier version. Failure. The J-20 was supposed to be China's carrier-based stealth fighter, projecting power across the Pacific from their growing carrier fleet. One massive problem. It's way too big and heavy for carrier operations. The structural reinforcements needed for carrier landings, the stronger landing gear, the arresting hook systems, would add so much weight the J-20 couldn't safely operate from carriers. China quietly admitted defeat and developed the smaller J-35 instead, essentially their F-35C equivalent. This is a tacit admission that the J-20's design has fundamental limitations. American F-35s operate from carriers routinely. The J-20 can't, restricting it to land bases only. For naval warfare and power projection, this is a strategic failure that limits China's ability to threaten carrier groups far from their coast. 2. Untested in combat. Here's the brutal truth. The J-20 has zero combat experience. None. Never fired a shot in anger, never faced real adversaries, never been tested under actual combat stress. Every capability is purely theoretical, based on propaganda claims and simulations. Meanwhile, American F-22s and F-35s have real combat operations, real data, real lessons learned. Chinese pilots have never experienced what happens when enemy electronic warfare hits them, when missiles are actually incoming, when plans collapse under real combat chaos. The J-20 might perform exactly as advertised, or it might fall apart under pressure. There's literally no way to know until it faces real opposition. All the propaganda videos and airshow demonstrations mean nothing compared to one actual engagement. China's betting everything on an untested platform. 1. The transparency problem. And here's the most insane fact. We genuinely don't know what's real about this jet. China won't admit any weaknesses, ever. Every specification could be exaggerated, downplayed, or completely fabricated depending on strategic messaging needs. No independent analysis is allowed. No foreign observers get access. No objective testing has occurred. Western intelligence simultaneously overestimates and underestimates the J-20 because the information environment is poisoned. Is it a genuine threat or overblown propaganda? Both. Neither? The deliberate opacity makes rational assessment impossible. China turned uncertainty itself into a strategic weapon. The scariest thing about the J-20 isn't what it can do. It's that nobody outside Beijing actually knows what it can do. That ambiguity is intentional, calculated, and potentially more dangerous than the aircraft itself. We're fighting ghosts and mirrors, and there you have it. 15 weird facts proving China's J-20 is equal parts innovation and mystery. Which fact surprised you most? Drop your thoughts below, smash that like button, and subscribe for more fighter jet breakdowns. We'll see you in the skies.